Today I am going to talk about a manga series called Aoba-kun's Confessions. This is by Emma Toyama. Emma Toyama wrote Missions of Love, which maybe I'll talk a little bit or touch a little bit on later in the video. Because, man, anyway, I decided to give this series a try. It is an 8-volume series. I did read all 8 volumes before filming this. I thought overall it was an okay series. I don't really know what else I was expecting, but let me tell you about it. So in this series, we follow the main character, Mayo Sakurada, and Mayo, she's interesting. No, she's actually boring. She is this high school girl. She's very quiet. She doesn't really have any friends. She's a loner, essentially, and an outcast kind of figure. I mean, I say that, but I mean, she looks perfectly normal. I don't know why she's an outcast or a loner, whatever, but she's alone. And she ends up getting a job at the listening house, and the listening house is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's a place where people go to just vent their emotions and their feelings, and somebody listens to them. It's not like a doctor certified kind of thing. It's literally just a person who listens. So it's not like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It's just a person who is willing to listen to you vent, because sometimes people just need to vent. And so that's the whole purpose of the listening house. And so Mayo, who has a very quiet voice, I don't really know why the quiet voice applies, but she's also very quiet. She doesn't project herself very well, decides that this will be a good job for her. So this is her part-time job while she's in school. And her first customer happens to be someone that she has admired since junior high. They had a class together in junior high first year. And ever since then, she's just really admired him, because that's what people do. And she, I don't know, I guess is disguised, if you count like Clark Kent disguise as a disguise. She just puts on glasses. I literally don't know what's wrong with people that they can't recognize people with or without glasses. But apparently, if you put on glasses or remove glasses, you look completely different. I did not know that this was a thing. Maybe in one of my videos, I should just do it without my glasses and you won't even know who it is. I don't know, but apparently this is a thing. So she puts on glasses and she's in a disguise. But she goes to find out what Aoba-kun's problem is. And this kind of bothers me because he just kind of blows it off. Like he's like, how about you guess my problem? Like, you work here, you guess what my problem is. And I just don't understand. Like, I thought you had to pay for this service. And so I'm kind of like, why would you pay for a service that you're not actively going to use? So that premise in and of itself bothers me. Why'd he go to begin with if he wasn't going to say anything and just be kind of a jerk about it? So he's just like, you guess what my problem is. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to be here. And he leaves. But of course, because it's Mayo and she knows who it is, this kind of bothers her. And actually the listening house owner, who I think maybe was Mayo's aunt, I can't remember if she would just call her an aunt because of that whole thing in Japan, or whether or not she actually was her aunt, because I thought she actually was like her mom's sister, but whatever. She says, oh yeah, that boy's got problems and he needs some help. And so Mayo decides that she is going to help Aoba. She's going to discover what his problem is and she's going to help solve it. And one of the ways that she does it is she decides to join the basketball club, which Aoba is a member of, but as the manager. And part of that is because she does have a couple of talks here and there with Aoba, and Aoba reveals that he thinks he's had enough of basketball and he's gonna quit the team. He's gonna resign from the club. And I don't remember if they make a deal together, whatever happens, but essentially she rejects his resignation and she comes on as the manager. That's about all you need to know. From there, it develops in much the same way that a regular shoujo plot will, where Mayo is, actively trying to figure out what's the matter with Aoba. But yeah, I mean, this is essentially it. She's wondering what's the matter with Aoba. She meets the other team members, including Aoba's best friend Nao. There will be some tension in there later because, of course, Nao develops feelings for Mayo. And so I don't really want to call that a love triangle, though. It's one of those situations where Nao doesn't stand a chance. Like, he's a perfectly fine guy. In many ways might have been better than Aoba, but you know that Mao is set on Aoba. Of course, it takes her a while to discover that she's crushing on Aoba, but, that's just par for the course. I will say the only good thing it does is kind of keep secret for quite a while about what Aoba's problem is, and then there's a lot of development on how to actually heal that problem. The problem itself is kind of resolved very quickly by the end of the series. So take that as you will. I don't know. For me, I don't know that I am an Emma Toyama reader. I don't know. So this is the second series of hers that I've read. I did start off with Missions of Love, which I thought had such an interesting premise. It's about a cell phone novelist. So essentially they write chapters, like you post it online. You do your chapter like on your cell phone and you post it online. And so the main character of that is secretly an author. But she's starting to get these comments that she has like problems with the romance angle. And that's really because she's never experienced love and she doesn't understand it. She ends up seeing her fellow classmate, who is highly admired, doing some questionable behavior. And so she ends up blackmailing him essentially in order to gain experience in romantic things. So like kissing and other romantic things, which was an interesting premise. I mean, really, I don't know how great blackmail is, but it was an interesting premise. But the book dragged on for, and the series, I should say, dragged on for like, 19? I feel like it was 19 volumes. And by the end, it made me want to pull out my teeth because the character development was so slow. It took so long for the main character to realize what like her feelings were, and I just found that really painful. And that series was too long. And I almost feel the same way about this, where I mean the premise is okay, and even bits of the narrative I found okay, but that was it. Like, it was just okay. There's nothing really new presented here. The emotions aren't really even that in-depth. It bothered me that there's one specific character on the basketball team, but it was not even just that character, who would call Mayo a plain Jane. And I'm like, what is plain about her? Like, she was cuter than half of the other characters. I don't know. If you're going to have a plain Jane character and you're actually drawing the character, could you make them look more plain? Like, I can't fathom this when it happens. It's kind of like when you get the characters, the Mary Jane characters, who are like, there's nothing special about me, but then they are actually the magical snowflake amazing person, and you're like, what? Why? Have a little bit more depth or something, or actually have her be plain. Like, she was still a cute character. So I'm like, why are you calling her a plain Jane? Yeah, I am not sure. This is probably one of the most negative reviews you'll hear from me. I am not sure that I can stand Emma Toyama's writing manga. I'm sorry if you're out there and you really like it, but I don't know. For me, they're going to rate more like 3 stars max because there's nothing new or good about them. The only thing that really gives it even that 3-star boost is I think her artwork is often pretty. The characters are pretty. I like it. I like the soft lines and the craft of it, but the narratives, they're okay. This one I did enjoy slightly more than Missions of Love, at least the second half of Missions of Love, because it was short. It was only 8 volumes. I can handle 8 volumes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything else I can say about it. Don't go in looking for something more than your typical shoujo story. I like shoujo stories with a bit more depth. So it didn't really fulfill that need in me. I want to see more from the characters. I don't know. That's so hard for me. It's so hard for me to talk like negatively about stuff. But I wanted more and I didn't get it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I will be back with more book recommendations. Until next time, bye.